Hi, how's it going there? So you're probably wondering why I'm starting the video with me talking. So I have a confession to make. So I happen to record a lot of footage. Okay, maybe not a lot. Maybe like 4 or 5 videos or something. And my recording software, also known as Shadowplay or NVIDIA, it decided to do this really funny thing where it reset my mic settings. So there's a bunch of clips where you can't really hear me that well. I mean, it was only like 5 videos, so it's not that big of a deal, right? Oh boy, that's terrible. That's awful. So I decided for this video I'm going to be doing a voiceover. Because I would not want to upload a video where you can barely hear my input. So I'm going to make a video in which I commentate over everything I've done up until, well, the most recent point, which the mic actually does get fixed, because I do have a solution for the mic problem. And then after that, it's going to be the way it was. I'm going to just do it the way I did it before, because the mic is fixed. Okay, let's begin. So we head westward, and we come across a skeleton in a boat. Just going for, normal Saturday morning fishing trip, trying to catch some bass in the lake, you know what I mean? And like any responsible individual, like you know that I am, I proceed to set him on fire. Because why wouldn't I? I have the power of God on my side. Nothing can stop me. And we stumble upon a church, a little bit more to the west, and we do end up missing the NPC invasion that's supposed to be here, but I didn't know that at the time because I came in at a really awkward angle, so I come back to this point later, so just keep note of that. We go a little further northwest and we make our way back into the wonderful place that is Florida. Oh my god. There are so many of these flying, what are these even? Pterodactyls? Rot birds? What are these? What are these even called? I don't even know. And the pit bulls. Because Miyazaki loves his dogs, no matter what game it is. The dogs are cool, man. Yeah, dogs are great. I gotta give it to him. It's amazing how he could turn anything he touches into some kind of, some eldritch horror. Anyways, away from Caelid, and we go to the Death Touch Catacombs, where we find that the boss of the area has, had a stroke. I don't know what happened here. But he's down to 2/3 of his HP, because I don't know. I have no explanation for this. He just has, no health. Well, anyways, with that boss out of the way, we head back to Stormvale in an attempt to progress the story. We are then introduced to Margit, the first required boss of the game. Woo-wee! Oh, I love this guy. After we are acquainted with our enemy, we are then promptly greeted with the floor. This guy is insane for a first boss fight in a Souls game, or in this context, a first mandatory boss. This guy is crazy. He has so many punishers, follow-ups, and he changes up his combos and stuff, and let me just say that I think he's remarkable. I think he's a great first boss, and I think that, honestly, it's a hard opener to this kind of game. I fell in love with this fight as soon as he went to his second phase. It was bliss. It was pure, unadulterated bliss. On our second attempt, we managed to clean out Margit with no struggle at all. Completely breezed an easy clap. And we move on into Stormvale. However, instead of going to the first Great Rune boss, we take a detour and end up back in Siofra, engaging the inhabitants and throwing fire at moose corpses, because I definitely know what I'm doing and I'm totally not afraid of being mauled by a spirit animal. While doing some exploration, we come across archers with aim so precise it would put a Navy sniper to shame. These guys never miss their shot, ever. It's honestly shocking. So basically, we decide to come back here later. We're not about that. Find a cave near the coast of Limgrave to the west side, and we proceed to slaughter the cave inhabitants, because like any Souls player would know, self-defense should be enacted proactively. We make our way into the boss room and find a boss with a best mechanic in the game, which is the ability to initiate a gang war, in which the objective is to survive. Unfortunately, we do not, and are forced to do the run of shame to the boss room yet again. Man, I love this boss. Look at all the fun I'm definitely having. I am definitely having a lot of fun doing this. It's like a Travis Scott concert in here. Anyways, moving on. We make it to the end of Siofra, and at this point, I still haven't fought the boss in this area yet, but we activate the lift on the other side. And where does it take us? If you guessed Caelid, you guessed correctly. I didn't know it at the time, but FromSoft really went all in on the world design in this game. And it's the best it's ever been. I gotta say, it's so fluid and interconnected. I'm impressed. Over in Limgrave, we find Bernal, a warmonger who lives for fighting and likes to repost military war memes, while hoping they get drafted for World War III. We know who you are. We listen to his war ramblings for a time, and we find a Deathbird, who is pretty much a chicken with a really large beat stick. I had no idea that they actually get much worse later in the game. Oh hey, we're here again. At this point I realized I had to light all the obelisks in the area to quote-unquote activate the boss. So I do just that, and I go and fight probably the most relaxing boss in the whole game so far. And considering where I am in the game right now, yeah, this boss is very soothing and relaxing. It's not even hard, but the music is really good. We jump around a lot in these recordings, so apologies, you'll have to bear with me for the time being. We head back to the Siofra well entrance in Caelid and push forward, only to be denied access by the 20-foot tall bouncer, who is so shocked by the height difference that his first move is to impale us with tree-sized arrows. Maybe another time. Back to Stormvale, we find a super secret stone sword key door, guarded by the rats of New York City subway stations, and in it we find the Godslayer seal and the Godskin prayer book. Fucking finally. So now, instead of throwing regular fireballs, we can now throw black flame balls. However, at this point in the game, I didn't really have the faith for that, so we're gonna stick to throwing regular fire. On the same page of fire-related things, what the fuck is this thing? The birds in Stormvale are not okay. What the hell is that? It has a fire sack on its face. It's so weird. Exploration in the castle leads us to find the Jar enemies, who are likely to roleplay as medieval Beyblades. They also burst into violent, bloody explosions when they die, which was not what I was expecting. We come across another side of Grace behind a giant and find an NPC tucked away in a room. Her name is Nefeli, who is here on a mission from her father to do away with Godric, just like we are. After prepping, we finally enter the boss room, and we are met with the first great rune bearer of Elden Ring, Godric the Grafted, or Godric the Golden, whatever. Unfortunately, I didn't catch it in my first fight because I forgot to hit the record button, but he ended up one-shotting me with his wind jumping combo. So you're seeing my second attempt. Now, if you remember Dark Souls 3, there was also Black Flame in that game as well. Well, now in Elden Ring, they really took it a step further, and oh my god, I love the Black Flame stuff. It's so cool to look at, and the effect it has is really useful. So it has this HP burn effect. So basically when you land a hit, it burns your HP, and it's percentage based. It's a percentage based HP burn, and it's amazing. All I gotta say is, people are definitely sleeping on this. All in all, Godric was a bit of a pushover. As long as I stayed away from him, the fight was pretty much done. But I'm not gonna skip over the fact that when he went to a second phase, he proceeded to behead a motherfucking dragon in front of me. Yeah, that shit's pretty fucking cool. Feels bad, man. Anyways, through Godric's throne room and his, catacomb section, where you can't fight anything, and now we're in Liurnia to pursue the second great rune bearer of the game. We go back to the round table and find that the back room is finally open, introducing us to the Fingers, weird, and Grandma, who will allow us to channel remembrances into boss weapons! Also, Roderica, the crazy chick who wanted to get grafted but said she was too scared to do so because, you know, getting your limbs hacked off is commonplace and you should feel bad for not doing it. We find the Church of Irith and meet a dropout sorcerer by the name of Topes, or Tops? And he's in a bit of a slump. He can't get into the Academy of Raya Lucaria because he needs a particular key, a glintstone key to be precise. So we have our objective because we also need a key to get into the Academy. Liurnia is so beautiful to look at. The location itself is so lush and vibrant. I actually found myself coming back here every day just to gaze at how vibrant the setting is. God, this game is something. And the new enemy variety is interesting, to say the least. I actually got jump scared by a lobster. Or crab or whatever it was. I was actually too busy running away to get a closer look. Upon exploring the western side, we find an Everjail hiding away Adon the Fat Bastard. It's not every day you can say you fought a man with the power to control the sun, but good thing it's a Souls game, because there's always someone who can do that shit. Side note, it was at this point in the game that I realized that there are dedicated symbols for map pieces. Yeah, I know. This is like at least like 40 hours in. But moving on, we explored the Laskir ruins and find something that's a bit peculiar about this place, aside from the hunchbacks waiting to spam magic missiles like it's a fucking D&D session. Okay, these revenant things are a fucking problem. Like, they are so aggressive and they attack so quickly. Who designed these things and why can they teleport? But we deal with it with little to no effort, again. We go north to find Patches just being a casual goon on a random island, surrounded by squid balls. And he tells us about the Iron Virgins. I don't know what that means, dude. It sounds like Marvel copyright to me. But we take his info and we move on with the game. To the Lakeside Crystal Cave, where we encountered a boss which we definitely have never seen before, I promise. And we find a woman and her dog, who actively shoos us away despite having never met us before. Just like women in real life. Thank you, Miyazaki. Okay, so remember that NPC evasion that I mentioned about 5 minutes ago in Caelid? Well, we end up going back there and we kick her ass, and that's about it. Nothing really interesting here. We find our first Clean Rot Night, and oh good, another death bird. Yeah, I didn't see that before. Over in Limgrave, I decided to be a brave boy and venture into the ruins guarded by a big bear to get some treasure, while we hear some howling coming from somewhere above the ruins. We go to Kale, and when we ask him about the howls, he gives us the ability to snap our fingers? And just like that, we have another NPC named Blythe. Why is he named Blythe? There's no THE in there. Why is he named Blythe? Anyways, he is fucking massive. We find out he's looking for someone called Darrowy, and if you remember who that is, it's a Bloodhound boss in Limgrave, which I killed probably in the first 10 hours of the game. So, we go to the same Everjail and we talk to Blythe again, and he thanks us before we part ways. Also in Stormvale, we fight this really terrifying tree monster that occupies about 80% of the room, and we stumble across a fucking alien face randomly at the bottom of the castle. So it turns out this is actually Godwyn. This is a projection of his now physical form, and the lore behind Godwyn is so creepy and fascinating. The story, man, the story. At this point in the game, I decided it was time we finally explored the Weeping Peninsula. And, as you guessed, shit gets sad. We meet a blind girl named Irina, and she requests us to deliver a letter to her father, who happens to be at Castle Morn in the south. Do you get the parallel yet? Down the road we find another Knight's Cavalry, because we didn't have enough duplicate bosses for one video, it would seem. Even with his three-headed flail, he is no match for the power of a man, high off of cerulean tears and some black flames. Southbound, we are to Castle Morn. We get a map, kill a giant, take down a bunch of misbegottens? That's the name, right? Before we make it to the top, and we find Irina's father, Edgar, who's fighting to save his castle. So, we give him the letter in hopes that maybe he would change his mind and actually go find his daughter so he can keep her safe. He doesn't. He doesn't do it at all. He actually just says that he has to protect his castle, and, you know, it's tough. Too bad. He basically leaves his only daughter, his blind only daughter, out there on her own. Wow. Yeah, I really hope nothing bad happens to Irina. Huh. You know, I would feel bad for Edgar, but what kind of father figure chooses to leave their disabled child on their own? No, I don't feel bad for him at all. He deserves this, in fact. So, to finish off this part of his quest now, because the original quest giver is not alive, we slay the Leonine Misbegotten boss and get a Game of Thrones reference. Wow, can't wait to not be able to use this. This ushers Edgar to finally see what has become of his daughter, and yeah, he's sad. Of course he's sad, why wouldn't he? Off to explore the peninsula. We killed some beetles, found some seeds, a memory stone, which I love how they did memory slots in this game. Thank God you can get them through memory stones. Game changing. And we come across mobs with the ability to contort their body. Fought an Erdtree avatar, and picked up a new flame and lightning incantation. By the way, if you're still in the early game, you have to come down to the peninsula. It is 100% worth. There's like 3 whole sacred tiers on this one island. you gotta come down here. There's also that walking mausoleum, which I believe was the first one I found in the game, so I ended up bringing it down and I used Godric's remembrance on it so I can test the mechanic of duplication. For the most part, the peninsula is done, and we go back to Liurnia, so we can find the specific knight that drops a lightning prayer book, so we can also throw lightning at people. Let's go. We have to Brother Corrin so we can learn these heretic lightning arts and become literal god, because this is a Dark Souls metaphor, and I'm living the shit out of it. Thank you, FromSoft. Whew, they buffed miracles in this game, and they buffed it even more in the present day. I also decided to fight the NPC in the round table, Alvarich, who wasn't particularly very hard, but that Frostbite Bleed combo was really scary. Luckily, he forgets that when you stab yourself, it's actually very dangerous, and he commits suicide in front of us. Heading back upstairs, we talk to Gideon Ofnir to learn more about the demigods. We need to teach a lesson, and we get some hints about 4 in particular. Godric the Grafted, the one we downed a little while back, Praetor Rykard, Renala, Queen of the Full Moon, who was supposed to be our next stop, and Radon, Scourge of the Stars, which is the coolest fucking name for a Souls boss I have ever heard in my life, like literally. While exploring some ruins in Liurnia, we stumble upon a teleporter, which takes us to the front gates of the academy, but we don't have the key for it yet, so we can't do nothing here. We do a bit of walking around, find a finger reading lady, observe a moving, flaming head being driven by a random enemy, and apparently it has the ability to run us down at incredibly high speeds. We also do a favor for a girl named Ria, where she wants us to retrieve a stolen item so we can track down the guy to a place called the Boiled Prawn Shack, where the NPC in front of the shack happens to sell boiled prawns. Wow, surprising. We get the item from the guy, and we return it to Ria, and she gives us an invitation to the Volcano Manor, which we will get to at a later point. Over on the west side, we combat another walking tree and get another memory stone, so we can memorize some more bullshit to throw at our enemies. Oh, I love being a faith build. We also come across Vare once again. Apparently I didn't know, but he has a quest you can do that gives you access to a very late game area pretty early. And that would have been cool to know, but I didn't do it. We locate the glintstone key we need to enter the academy, and a big fuck off magic dragon with the funny blue breath, which I probably would have killed on my first try if I didn't get cocked by a flying beetle who decided to fall on my head. Yep, thank you FromSoft. The second attempt was much better. With our newfound lightning powers, we basically kill him with utter ease, and that's not sarcasm. And we make our way into the academy finally. And that's it. That's all I need to narrate for the time being. At this point, I fixed the audio problem, and things are good again. So basically, after this video, things are going to be back to the way they were, because the audio is not an issue anymore. And yeah, we're going to continue playing Elden Ring. I'm actually really far into the game right now, right before Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, which is like probably the second to last boss, I think. I still haven't fought Melania or Moog yet, so there's those two. Yeah, that's gonna be it for now, guys. I'll see you later when the next video goes up. Alright, peace out.